To understand how the Amish bake bread without a modern oven, you must first understand their deep ancestral relationship with fire. Most Amish families, especially in more conservative districts, still use wood-fired ovens, sturdy, handcrafted masonry ovens made from brick, stone, or clay. These are often built directly into the kitchen or as a separate structure outdoors. To the Amish, fire is not just a heat source, it's an instrument of craft, and bread baking is a ritual that starts long before dough hits the surface. The process begins early in the morning when a fire is lit inside the oven chamber using seasoned hardwood like oak, maple, or hickory. The goal is to saturate the thick walls of the oven with heat, not to maintain flames throughout the baking, but to absorb and radiate steady warmth for hours. Once the fire has burned for several hours, the coals are raked out and the oven floor is brushed clean. What's left is an oven filled with stored thermal energy, radiating heat evenly across its curved enclosed walls. Unlike electric ovens that blast heat in pulses, a wood-fired oven creates an environment of consistent, gentle warmth that yields perfect crusts and soft interiors. There's no temperature dial or digital screen. The Amish test the readiness of the oven by feeling the radiant heat with their bare hands, or by tossing in a pinch of flour to see how quickly it browns. It's a skill learned over time, passed from mother to daughter, not read in manuals. Mixing by hand, kneading by heart, the Amish bread dough process. Amish bread doesn't begin with a machine. It begins with muscle, memory, and a deep respect for tradition. In most Amish kitchens, the bread-making process starts with fresh, simple ingredients: flour, often ground locally or in their own mills, warm water, yeast, salt, and sometimes a bit of sugar or lard. There's no packaged dough, no mixers with dough hooks, and no shortcuts. Everything is done by hand, usually in large ceramic bowls or on worn wooden tables passed down for generations. The process is physical and slow, but there's beauty in that slowness. It's an act of devotion, not just food prep. Kneading is done by feel, not by timer. The Amish women, and sometimes the men too, know by the resistance of the dough, by the way it springs back, whether it's ready. Rising is another art. Without timers or digital displays, Amish bakers simply watch and wait. They place dough in greased bowls, cover them with cloth, and leave them in warm spots, near a stove or under the gentle warmth of a sunny window. They watch for volume, not numbers. When the dough has doubled, it's punched down, shaped into loaves, and placed into greased pans or directly onto baking stones or cast-iron surfaces. Second rises are again measured by eye and instinct. The entire process can take hours, but in Amish households, it's folded into daily life. From hearth to loaf, baking Amish bread without electricity. Once the dough has risen and been carefully shaped, the Amish baking process enters its most delicate and skillful phase, the bake itself. With no electric thermostats, timers, or automatic settings, Amish bakers rely entirely on their senses and experience. The wood-fired oven, now filled with radiant, retained heat from the fire lit hours earlier, becomes the heart of the process. The coals have been scraped out, the chamber is cleaned, and now, without an active flame, the oven radiates an even, dry heat ideal for baking. Bread pans, often made of cast iron or thick steel, are used to hold the shaped dough. In some homes, they grease the pans with lard or butter, while others dust them with flour or cornmeal to prevent sticking. In many cases, bread is baked in batches, with 5 or 6 loaves going in at once, sometimes more. The Amish know where in the oven to place each pan. Some areas bake hotter, others slower. There are no rotating racks, no fans for circulation, just raw, ambient heat and intuition. In some cases, they remove one test loaf and slice it to see if the inside is cooked through. These are not scientific checks. They are generational wisdom passed down like sacred knowledge. When the bread is done, it emerges golden brown with thick crusts and soft, pillowy insides. The smell fills the house and signals the end of a sacred routine. But even then, the job isn't over. The loaves are removed from the pans and placed on racks or cloth towels to cool slowly, preventing sogginess. In a single morning, a household may bake enough bread for the whole week, or more if they're preparing for guests, church gatherings, or community events. All of it done without a single watt of electricity. It's a marvel of skill, patience, and the age-old belief that the simplest things, done well, nourish the soul as much as the body. Baking in all seasons, how Amish adapt without modern climate control. One of the most remarkable aspects of Amish bread baking is how seamlessly it continues through the seasons, regardless of external temperature or weather conditions, without the help of thermostats, preheating buttons, or insulated electric ovens. In winter, when most people would rely on central heating and oven timers to create consistent baking environments, the Amish simply adjust. They build hotter fires. They insulate their dough better during rising. Some even warm their flour or mixing bowls beforehand by placing them near wood stoves to prevent the dough from becoming too cold and sluggish. Heavy wool cloths are used to drape over rising bread to trap heat, and the dough is often placed in a cozy corner near the kitchen range or tucked beside an already warm oven chamber. Humidity also plays a role. On damp days, Amish bakers may reduce the water in their dough slightly, or allow longer rising times. On dry days, they may add a touch more moisture to prevent cracks. Again, nothing is measured with gadgets. It's all done by hand, by memory, by intuition. And if something doesn't turn out quite right, it's not wasted. Overbaked bread becomes croutons or breadcrumbs. Underbaked loaves are toasted or served warm with thick butter. Ultimately, the Amish don't need a climate-controlled kitchen to achieve perfection. They've mastered the art of observing, adapting, and working with nature, not against it. Their bread doesn't come from a machine. It comes from harmony, with the fire, the seasons, and the rhythm of life itself.